And what I notice mostly as a coach when I talk to people is that people are focused on the lack of strength. And when we cover learning and transformation, they focus on, well, I'm not good at these skills, so I have to improve them. But it's also important to acknowledge our strengths, to acknowledge what we are good at. And this following exercise is going to put the spotlight on that. So I'm going to invite you once again to take the pen and paper and to write down something based on this context. Think about the challenge that you have been through and how you managed to overcome it. It's better to choose something that you have already overcome, that is something from the past, something that you have healed from, instead of something that you're currently going through. But think about what you learned, what overcoming that situation showed you about yourself. What strengths did you find in yourself to overcome that challenge? And what did you learn about yourself and your abilities? Take a little bit of time and write it down. And of course, if you feel comfortable to share something about a challenge and what you learned about yourself, please do share it either in the chat or just unmute yourself and share it so we can hear about your strengths. I'm just going to give you a little bit of time.
You know, I'm still thinking, Alexandra. But I
Is it? You are thinking about a challenge, to identify a challenge? It doesn't have to be something big. It can be something very small.
I guess there are so many that I cannot choose the best. Okay.
Yes, someone is sharing motivation. Yes, that's very true. When we overcome something, we realize that we can have that motivation inside of us. If it's important for us, then we can find the motivation and the strength to overcome, to find solutions. Preparing yourself to pass the barriers, exactly. Yeah. Think about whether it was a challenge at work, maybe it was a difficult conversation, or in your personal life. What did you learn about yourself and your abilities? I know sometimes it's difficult because, like I was mentioning, yeah, it's easier to look at what we are not good at instead of looking at the skills and the strengths that we have. And this is why this exercise is really important. Looking for better results and achieve your goal. Yes, thank you for sharing in the chat. Is anyone ready to share? If you're not comfortable to share the challenge, you can just share with us the strengths that you have, the strength that you identified in yourself. Even if it's just one word, I would like to hear from as many of you, because I know this is difficult and it takes you out of your comfort zone, because we are so focused on the skills and the abilities that we don't have, and we forget to acknowledge what we're good at. So if you could please type in the chat box or just unmute yourself and give us one word, that will be all. Resilience, yes.
Alexandra, it's good to read some of them because on broadcasting, we cannot see the chat.
Yes, I am going through the answers now. So I'm a multitasker. However, I'm learning to say no so that I can focus more on production tasks. Yes, that is a very good strength, saying no. That's very good. The challenge showed me that I'm able to do everything with a bit of research, even if I don't know anything about it. Yes, that's so powerful. Yes, that makes me ambitious and not being afraid to overcome new things, improvise, adapt, overcome sometimes does the trick. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Start before being ready, because very many times we just put barriers to ourselves because we feel we're not ready for doing something. But once we start doing it, we learn along the way. And that shows us that we're ambitious and we don't have to be afraid of new things and new opportunities. So thank you so much for sharing, Elif. Resilience, yes. Able to accomplish things at very short notice. Won't know unless I did it. Yes. So basically working well under pressure and when you have a short deadline. That's a very great strength to be aware of. I was once questioned by my boss about what I was asking for developing a certain business. So I answered, okay, if we don't do this, we will lose the business, but it is your decision. The result was that my boss finally did what I was asking for, and the business was very profitable. So I transferred the responsibility to him, and he felt responsible, and he did what I asked. So you learned to speak up and to state your opinion, which is really important as well, and to pass that responsibility to give the responsibility to someone because they can be accountable for it as well. Very good. I discovered that even though I'm young, I can inspire other people. Very, very good. Yes, exactly. We have this in us. It's only a matter of being open and sharing from our experience, because you never know. Even, so many times we feel that, oh, nobody will care about our story or about our experiences. But in fact, if you open up and share something that you are going through, or maybe something that you read about, even if it's just one person who gets value out of it, that is going to be very important. It will maybe change their life. They will remember that lesson. Maybe it's something that they really needed to hear in that moment. And you are an inspiration to them. So always be open to sharing with other people. And that is scary. Sometimes that happens with everyone, even those who are really successful. Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
thank you very much for all your opinions. Let's move a bit further, yeah, because we have like 6 more minutes, and anyway, we will exceed the time, but I hope nobody gets upset of that. Let me pass the floor to the other Alexandra, Alexandra Ciucanu. Please share your perspective with us.
Well, I will make a short conclusion. Be careful with yourselves on the way to mindfulness, because there is an effect called frog effect, and I will talk a little bit about it. You know, the frog has the capability to adapt herself in environment. What they did, they took the frog, they put it at a temperature in some water, and they start increasing the temperature and increasing it. And the frog was still adapting and still adapting until the frog finally started to boil. So she died. Be careful with adapting yourself to some situation. Put yourself thresholds. What I understood about myself and my abilities is that I am very sincere with the job, and even that I overcome some very bad situations at a point, I understood that the only person that can make me happy or upset is myself. The problem that I always had, it was empathy. I was always empathizing with people's feelings. Some of them are not so positive as you, and they were making me feel a little bit upset. They were giving me some of their bad feelings, but when I was changing myself, of course, the situation was getting worse. So this is not something that it was supposed to happen. The situation should have get improved. So eventually I understood and I learned about my capabilities is that In order to overcome situations, you have to overcome your emotions. Think about yourself as being a sponge. If you are full of water, then the water that is coming more, you cannot grab it. It's impossible. So you need to squeeze the sponge and then to grab new skills. Do this daily with this practice that Miss Badita showed us in this evening and that Miss Dragomir presented. Try to squeeze yourself from the past emotions. You cannot expect, as Alexandra said, to receive different results from doing the same thing. This is impossible. So try to change a little bit. Get rid of the things that may hurt yourself in the past days in order to overcome the new challenges. Basically, what I'm saying is whenever you put your head on the pillow, try to practice this well-being a little bit today, a little bit more tomorrow, a little bit the next day after tomorrow. And believe me, it takes 30 seconds, 30 minutes, maybe 3 hours to learn skills that can save your life, skills that you will use for your whole life. Think about how you learn how to drive the car. You learn it in some lessons and you are using it for your whole life. It's the same with the well-being as well. If you want to be healthy, if you want to overcome the challenges in your life, if you want to help the others, if you want to live a happy life, just take your time to learn the correct skills. So consider self-improvement every single day. Now, because I didn't know exactly that I will be able to join this session, since I'm on board and I have challenges every time, and the phone might ring at any point, so I have to go. I made a short video about the thing that I faced since I started this maritime career the most. It's called Unconscious Bias, and Miss Cristina Dragomir will play it. And by the end of my speech, I would like to thank everybody for attending our webinar, and I hope this will be just the beginning of a beautiful coach journey.
Okay.